And we are live, everybody. What's going on? We have
What
an
up?
amazing guest. What's going on, James? What's going on, Brian?
Yo,
Hello,
Brian.
good to be with you guys tonight. Thank you for having me. I've been excited
Thanks for
about
joining.
this.
Me too. Me too. I've enjoyed Brian, and we were just chatting a little bit about that in the green room, and it has been I've been doing this 2 years, and you've been doing this a while now. How long have you been doing the reviews? And I know you had a YouTube channel prior to that as well.
Yeah, so I've been doing
Yeah.
beard content for 3 years.
Wow.
3 years. I think it's 3 years last month.
What's up,
That's
Justin?
amazing.
Hey, Justin. Good to see you, man.
Justin, what's going on, buddy?
We've been
And then
talking about you, Justin. We've been talking about you.
We were. It's just all good things. All good things. So, and then you were doing music YouTube pieces prior to that. So tell us a little bit about your YouTube music piece, or YouTube. It's basically a channel for music that you did.
Yeah, so it started off with I was learning to play the banjo, so I would like play a banjo lick just to kind of keep me honest. You know, if you record yourself, it kind of forces you into practice, and you can go back and listen to it. So I was posting some stuff, and I'm a teacher at heart. I'm a math teacher, and my brain is the whole about process oriented stuff. So as soon as I would learn a lick, I was like, I wonder if I could teach somebody else how to do it, because if you can teach somebody else how to do it, you're really internalizing it. So it kind of turned
Right.
into me doing banjo lessons, trying to teach people some things.
Very nice.
And as I was learning to play the banjo and doing that, I was also really getting into the bluegrass music, and I was finding some phenomenal old live shows that were like audio only, and they were not on YouTube anywhere. So what I would do is I would take the whole 2 hour live set and cut it up into songs, and I would put that on my channel. I got monetized. She was doing a lot of the graphics at church for songs and stuff. So she took a Chris Stapleton song, the Tennessee Whiskey, and she had like the lyrics running and all that stuff. And that thing hit the YouTube algorithm, and it went, I don't know if it went exactly viral, but it had like 15 million views.
Wow.
I got a lot of
That's viral.
subscribers based off of that. So I got like 30 something thousand subscribers. And then YouTube got strict and said, that's not your own content. And so they pulled the plug on my monetization. So I ended up taking back all of the songs, everything off of my YouTube channel that wasn't me, that I didn't create myself. So I still have history of those views, but I got monetized again, but I'm only making like $10 a month on the channel now, where I was making about $150 a month when they pulled the plug. So that's my whole YouTube story of how I got into that. And I started making the beard content about 3 years ago. Put a couple dozen videos on the only channel I had, my music channel, and realized it was two totally different things, and my music subscribers weren't very happy. So I split it at the end of the year, and started doing the Beards and Banjos YouTube channel. So
I like that. It works. Yeah, I really like that.
And I'm in that we're almost in, at least I'm in that almost same dilemma where I'm going music and then beard products. They really don't, they're two different niches almost. And can they be niched? I totally get you.
Yeah.
Totally get you. Totally understanding your point.
I did a little mishmash because of COVID and not being able to get out and perform, that I just started doing karaoke. And instead of putting it on my music channel, I did put it on the Beards and Banjos channel. So I put music on there occasionally, but that live stream is kind of more for the community. I share it with my Facebook. So my followers on Facebook are like my family and music people anyway. And so I live stream to both Facebook and the Beards and Banjos YouTube channel at the same time. It's been a really fun thing. People just kind of come in and relax and listen to some songs and kind of start their weekend. That's every Friday night at 7:30. Kind of have themes. Last week we did a George Strait theme. Tomorrow night we're doing songs that tell us stories. We're doing story songs tomorrow night, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, I was checking on that. I try and catch them. Friday weekends I work nights, so I try and catch them on. You know what I'm saying, when I can, or I'll rewatch them.
And I'm starting.
But
to
yeah,
have a couple
I love
people. Yeah, I'm starting to have a couple people say that they're watching them later on in the weekend, which is kind of cool. Makes me feel good. Makes me feel good they're getting some enjoyment out of it, because I'm getting enjoyment out of practicing up some songs and then performing for folks.
Oh, I love it.
It's actually just relaxing, because I mean, even after a busy day, just to listen to it, because I mean, it's not obviously heavy. It's just light, like bluegrass style like stuff, and it's just you can just kick back and just relax and do whatever, you know, and just and listen to some good tunes. I mean, it's good stuff.
Absolutely,
Hey,
totally
Scott.
great. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, yo, man.
So we might have to have Scott here on in a little bit to kind of discuss his rock background. He has he was a drummer back in the day. So yeah, I enjoy bringing on folks that I've known for a while that are musicians, same passion, same exact type of musicians are just, they know, you know, when you're practicing, you're getting better. There is something about the camaraderie that you have with that piece of, you know, practicing and knowing what it takes to be patient with learning music, especially if you've been anywhere with a band. It is extremely a lot of, I think it takes a lot of patience, but it also takes, you know, everybody has a different skill set, a different opinion. You definitely have to be able to meet in the middle on, especially when talking about music and dealing with music. Very fun though. Very fun, and I think enjoyable.
I feel like if I picked up a banjo right now and watched your videos or whatever, or I feel like I could learn a little bit more by just, you know, going to actually get lessons from somebody else. You know,
I've got some good lessons on my other YouTube channel.
Yep.
Yeah.
For the banjo, for sure.
Yeah, and then he's also, you know, I think that we've talked about bluegrass for some time, and that's one of the big reasons. I didn't know about some of these bands back, you know, before we started talking, and I've actually started watching a lot more bluegrass because of Bryan. So excellent bands.
The musicianship is amazing. If you've never listened to bluegrass, it's a totally different idea, because in a bluegrass band, if they're doing a song with vocals, like, it's a whole break and everybody has a different break, so everybody does their own solo on their own instrument in between the verses of the song, and it's just, you find a really good bluegrass band, and it's amazing. There's no electronics going on, there's no there's no amplifiers or any of that kind of stuff, and it's just a really
natural
cool thing.
like natural.
Especially if you ever catch anything live, just to see that, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I agree, and that's the one thing that I really got out of it is when you're watching that type of, and it's like what James was saying. There is this homey feel to it where it's relaxing. It is enjoyable, and there's a lot of musicianship that goes into it. There's, you know, I remember watching it and going, "Wow, that guy can play," and that guy being Bryan. And then I think you also were playing with an excellent guitarist as well at the time. That I saw a couple of that you shared some of your videos that were just like phenomenal.
I don't remember. I don't remember what I shared with you.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, and you know, I always pick up the anybody playing a banjo or something with strings. I'm picking up on that immediately as soon as I start hearing it. But you also have great vocals, so that's something that you know, you do in the karaoke nights. But that's what I also picked up, that you have these amazing vocals. You can stand along just on the vocals as well as just maybe some simple guitar.
Right,
you know,
the
vocals are definitely.
I didn't start in bluegrass at all, so I've been like in love with music since I was like 3 years old. I started with this is going to be a lot different story than most people. Southern gospel quartets, where you got the four guys singing and a piano, and you got the bass singer and the high tenor singer and some awesome harmonies. So that's what I started listening to. I had tons of records that I would listen to and go to concerts and that kind of thing. So that's where I started. I kind of probably perked my ear up towards what harmony was, because it's totally different than somebody singing solo than if two people or more are singing in harmony together.
In sync, yeah, it's crazy.
It's just so amazing, and
it's really nice.
Run chills down you faster than anything. Some good harmony singing. So that's where I started, and then I was in some choruses and that kind of thing. And when I was in high school, I learned to strum guitar just enough to play with. And then when I got married, we started going to a church. I learned how to play the bass. So I played bass in the church and in a group that I was in, a Southern Gospel Quartet I was in. And then one of the guys in the church was, he was a pretty famous fiddle player. He played on Hee Haw. He played with a guy named Mickey Gilley, if you know him, very famous back in the 80s.
Yep.
Anyway, he was doing bluegrass, and he got me along. What was that? Got me along to play some stuff. So that's how I got into bluegrass a little bit. and started doing bluegrass gospel. And then I picked up the mandolin. Mandolin is super hard. I can chop chords on it, but I never got too good at soloing. And then I picked up the banjo, and it just stuck. So I've been playing banjo for about 10 years now. And I'm in a
that's
bluegrass
awesome.
gospel band. We get to do little small venues. We do restaurants or little festivals or churches. We also have an outreach where we go to a lot of nursing homes and play for the old folks. Nothing puts a smile on your face more than hearing a banjo ring for some reason. I don't know why that is, but it's hard not to smile when you hear a banjo.
I agree with you.
Just want to get up and dance.
Totally true. Totally true. Yeah. This is the one thing. So let's talk about a little bit. So you're talking that when you were really young. Now, did you have musician family members? Did your mom and dad just enjoyed the music from the church?
I just enjoyed the music that I went to, had the opportunity to go see in person. And then I had some records and just kind of listened to that over and over. And it just kind of stuck. My parents would always tell stories that when I was 3 years old, they got me a little toy saxophone for Christmas, and within like 3 minutes, I was playing "Mary Had a Little Lamb" on it. So, so there's a little bit of musicality there, but I never really picked up from anybody in my family. Nobody played any instruments, so it was just me. I'm an only child, and I'm a pretty, I guess, dedicated when it comes to some things. I can stick to it and just kind of power through.
I did a little bit of saxophone in high school.
Oh, very cool.
Like some of the alto sax.
Let me jump out of here. I'm lagging on the screen. Your voices aren't matching up. Let me pop out and right back in.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Waltimus Prime. He said love blues, bluegrass, Zydeco, and New Orleans jazz.
Oh, that's cool.
Zydeco is pretty good too. Yeah, New Orleans jazz. Yeah. I've watched a lot of that too.
Right, me too. So my family is musicians. So my dad's a composer, and my mom is a vocal teacher. So I grew up around music all of my life, which is why I'm so influenced by it. But my parents were, my mom, because she has a vocal background in mostly jazz. That's what she was doing, was jazz singing. So I absolutely love everything to do with jazz. But then jazz goes into blues, and blues goes into bluegrass and country. So bluegrass. Do you consider bluegrass and jazz as like the Americana, the true American contribution to music?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, it's amazing. And bluegrass is one of those things that was picked up from, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about the history about bluegrass. I'm sure you have a little bit more than I know, but do you have anything that you know about the history of bluegrass that will help
for bluegrass? It was picked up from a couple different things, because you have the fiddle, which came in from like the Irish, and then you have the roots part, which is the kind of the blues inspired part, and it all kind of meshed together. And then the banjo. I think the fiddle came in first, and you have fiddle and banjo, and then later on they started adding in guitars because the guitars aren't very loud.
Right. That's the interesting thing about is that it did come from, and it came from a distinct area of the South. Basically, is bluegrass came basically from the southern states, and that's where a lot of the influence. Why you have those fiddle players coming in, because you have the fiddle coming in from Ireland, but they settled, and the reason why is because they settled in the South, and then some of the influences, and that's why you have bluegrass, and then you have blues coming from, and jazz coming from that same area, actually.
Right.
James, your audio is crazy right now, buddy.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like loud and airy.
So a lot of background noise there?
Yeah, there's a lot of background noise.
Yeah, there's nothing going on.
I'll try and back in like I did.
I'll just try and drop out. I'll drop out real quick.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, that was weird.
Last time I was on the live stream on StreamYard, it did the same thing to me. As it started off fine, and then as it kept going, the lips kept getting more and more out of sync with the audio. It's like, okay.
Oh, that's a bummer, and that's the one thing I think that as StreamYard gets more popular, I was thinking about going to Restream just to see what it was going to do, because it has almost the same features.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see if
they've added some more too. I think you can do more fancy overlays now, have animated backgrounds and stuff now.
Oh, I love that stuff. You're on Restream, aren't you?
I'm on Ecamm, which is for Mac only.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. You can do, all kind of crazy stuff. I'm actually using it now, so we can make it celebrate.
You can love it. Totally love it. And we are celebrating, so we'll wait for James. But couple things. So you've been playing banjo for 10 years, and that is definitely stuck, and you are excellent picker. I want to have you explain, why is banjo, it's a difficult instrument to pick up. It's not just like a guitar. And I want you to explain some of the difficulties that you had by learning how to play it, and then maybe what is something that everyone who is thinking about playing banjo, what should they know about the banjo before picking one up?
Sure. Let's see what we can do. So the hardest part, it depends on what type of banjo, because there's different types. So this one is more of your bluegrass standard banjo, because it's got a resonator, it's got a back to it. But there's also open back banjos. This one's got a metal tone ring in it, which makes it a lot louder. So it kind of compete with the fiddles and all of that stuff. But there's a couple different playing styles as well. On those open back banjos, they do what's called frailing. So they just kind of, it's almost like they're strumming. So they're kind of creating their own backbeat. And then Earl Scruggs is the one that made the 3-finger banjo famous. So now we've got the tone ring, which makes it louder. And then you put on this beard jewelry here, this banjo jewelry. So you got a thumb pick, and then you've got 2 finger picks. And what you do is you roll those things constantly. So it's like a cascade of notes. And the hard part on that is when you do it, if you're playing in 4/4 time, you got 4 beats in a measure. Well, you're doing 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th beat comes here. But the next time through, the 4th beat comes with this finger. The next time through, the 4th beat comes with this finger. So
I get you.
It becomes a syncopated thing. So you get. So that's the hard part on the style that I play, is you got to get all that going. You got to keep it going. And I'm left-handed, but I play this thing right-handed, which makes it even harder for your fine motor skills. And that's the hardest part. Now, one of the easiest things is it's already in tune. It's in G. I can just play it without putting anything on, putting any frets down, unlike a guitar, which is in some E minor or something.
Right.
That's already open G. So you can play strum along pretty easily. And,
Oh, very nice. That's excellent.
You can just fret all the way across like a bar, and you're still in tune.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. So you can bar it without any. Yeah. I get it.
Hey, Joey Hookham.
Hey, Joey, what's going on? So, what is something is there, like, somebody's picking out a banjo for themselves? What would you go brand wise?
So if you're trying to pick something out, the problem is this is such a specialty instrument. You can get some that are, you know how this is, because we buy a lot of stuff where we've been around a long time. You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
But to get a decent banjo with the tone ring that's going to have this kind of sound to it, it's going to cost about $800 or so. And I would suggest like a Recording King. I don't know if you ever heard of Recording King. They make guitars as well.
I have heard of
Recording
them.
King makes a nice entry level, full resonator, got the tone ring, got everything in it. If that's what you're looking for, and to grow in is going to last you several years. Or you can do like a lot of people do and get some cheap, $100, $200 one that doesn't have the tone ring, that's hard to keep in tune, and try to learn some stuff on that. And then realize a year down the road, it's like, I really need to grow and to get something else.
And that's the reason why I even brought that up, because I want people to realize that you do need to buy a good entry level. People will not pick up, and that goes for guitar, it goes for any instrument. You will not pick up an instrument that is hard to play, especially string instruments. When you have to really push down the fretboard, there's the action on the fretboard isn't very good. You will not pick it up and you will not play it. I used to have a cheap guitar that I got at like a yard sale. It was an acoustic, and it was so hard to play, and I know how to play. It was so hard to play that I got rid of it because it just wasn't something that I wanted to go pick up an acoustic for. But my parents, thank goodness, guitars are a little bit different price range. My parents gave me a fairly good guitar for around $400 back in, the 80s. And I played on that thing 6 hours a day. And it was because it had just really great action. The fretboard was really good. It was fast. It was easy to learn on. And it was like an intermediate guitar. But don't buy cheap. Like if you go to Walmart, there's a good indication that you probably won't be buying anything that you really want to use. And the same goes with banjos.
Yeah. If you're serious about it, you almost need to go to an intermediate level, because you're going to get the same kind of thing with less bells and whistles and inlays and that kind of stuff. And the other thing I would highly recommend, as you said, is not just buy it anywhere, buy it from a trusted music store, but also take it to a luthier and pay $50 to $100 to have it set up properly, right? They can lower the nut. They can make sure all the rods are adjusted. You got the right amount of bow in the neck. Everything's ringing true and as good as it can be before it's put in your hands.
Right, which is huge.
I agree, Gary. $400 in the 80s, that was a good guitar.
It was.
My first guitar was $7. Bought at a yard sale, and some of the tuning pegs were so old that they just disintegrated. I had to tune it with a pair of pliers.
I've seen those. I know what you're talking about. So yeah, and it's interesting because so I had to try to explain this to my wife a while back, is that why I no longer am going to buy a $400 guitar. I said, once you get to a certain level, and it's just probably like yours with banjo, you get to a certain level and you want the Les Paul, you no longer are happy with just a standard intermediate guitar. You're like, okay, if I'm going to buy something once I start really playing, I'm going to be buying the best of the step up from where I'm at now, which is I have a Strat right now, and then I'm going to go Les Paul. And then if I'm going to go acoustic, you would go with something. Now Fender's actually making fairly good ones because they bought Guild. So
go a Taylor or Martin, right?
Taylor Martin, yeah, yep. But you're talking $1,500. You're $1,500 to $2,000.
As far as the bluegrass instruments, you go to custom made stuff, right? The small luthiers that make. That's all they do is they just make that. You don't want to go to some big place that just manufactures this and that and the other, and every 18 people have their hands on it.
Right. And so that's exactly, and they're okay to learn from on the intermediate, but definitely, like he said, pick up and my big point is to inspire other people to want to be musicians. And that's why I have them on. And definitely it is about saving up a little bit of shekels to be able to get something that you're going to want to play. And $800 for banjos and I have a good friend that wants to start at banjo. It was either banjo or slide guitar. I said, you're starting at a very high end instrument, but they're fun to play. They're absolutely a blast.
If it's a banjo, let me know. I can give him some advice.
For sure. So what is your favorite songs to be? So you do sing some country songs, the bluegrass, and there's different variations of bluegrass that are out there. And also within that. So what is your favorite types of bluegrass to play?
I like the traditional. And so the traditional, you don't have the bluesy, as much bluesy inspired stuff. And when you're playing backup, like when somebody else is singing or somebody else is playing an instrument, you don't always roll the entire time. You're kind of doing these. So you get to play a lot more up the neck stuff, whereas the more some of the newer stuff, it's more driving, and the banjo just kind of rolls the whole time. And I guess old after a while, just doing that for 10 minutes on end.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Scott knows a little bit about his guitars too. Yep, very nice.
Scott,
very
I'm
nice.
left-handed. Just learned to play right-handed. Get over it. It's a right-handed world.
It is a right-handed world. Do you know what? So I always look at Jimi Hendrix, who just flipped his guitar around, but you can't do that with the banjo.
People have done some amazing things. I'll send you this video sometime. But there's a pretty famous banjo player in the bluegrass world, and he does not have any fingers on his fretting hand. He just it was birth defect. He has like part of a thumb, and that's all he has. So instead of wrapping his hand around, he doesn't have any fingers. So he just does this and plays everything this way. And learned
interesting.
And he got really good at it and became a professional banjo player. It's pretty amazing.
It is really amazing. I love those stories, and those are the stories that, because it's just amazing to watch somebody. And I've known there's some individuals out there in the, like Black Sabbath, Tony Iommi's a guitarist, and he has like some problems where he'd like knock like he was in an accident and he got rid of the fingertips, so he had to play always with like this slide, like a metal piece that was always on his hand. And that's why a lot of his riffs sound very bluesy. He has a lot of slide in it. So yeah, very cool. So it is 5. I don't know where James went, but it is 5:28. He would have told you that he's bringing some amazing desserts, and we'll share that when he comes back in. But today's dessert for Andy is, I just bring snacks because, James is a professional chef, and I just bring in, I brought in Rice Krispie treats because I can't even compete with the man. I mean, and I don't know where, when he shows up, he definitely brought in something amazing. But the one thing that, as a musician, and you've done some gigs, there's always like, I think that food and gigs go, especially
Now, I play at church homecomings. You want to talk about food? I can tell you all about food at the church homecomings.
Tell us about some food at the church homecomings.
My weakness is banana pudding. That's my weakness.
Banana pudding. That's hilarious.
Right. How does that sound? Sound better?
Sound better, man. Sound better. Good.
Thank you. The whole thing had to restart and update, and this was taking forever.
Oh, bummer, man. Sorry. Yeah. So we've gotten. So we're now into the food sharing. So let's see your food really quick, James. I already showed him my Rice Krispie treats.
Well, it's funny when you mentioned that in the green screen. That's what I had made was Rice Krispie treats, but I put like peanut butter, like chocolate chips in there, or peanut butter chips in there. So like when you said that, I was laughing about it, and I'm like, we're showing the same thing.
He likes banana pudding too. So.
Banana pudding. So
yeah, banana pudding. Good. I'll eat banana pudding.
Banana pudding any day. Yeah. So we were talking about. So when he goes to gigs, he's a lot of these are church functions of some sort, or at a church. And so they have the food. What is your favorite, like, what would you say are like for a main course meal? What would you say, like, from one of those places? I have my favorite when I go to these, like a church event or something like that, but what's yours?
It's always a little bit of everything. So that's the one time that it's kind of like buffet style, right? So you just go through and you get one of everything. You got to get a deviled egg. You've got to get
Yep.
some people usually have the little meatballs. You know, you got to get a meatball.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to get a chicken leg. You got to get ham if they have that. Some potato
Yep. It's
salad,
usually everything. Yeah, you're
baked
really carrying like
beans.
2 plates.
Yeah,
Like
one
around,
yes.
2 plates.
I usually get one full plate, and then I go back and get one full plate of
Yeah.
desserts.
That's how it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And don't
So
feel a bit bad about it.
that's right. That's absolutely right. You're there, and there you're the hired help. You're the musician.
That's
You need to
right.
be fed.
Yeah.
I need to be fed. My favorite thing of all time from those type places is fried chicken. I absolutely love fried chicken, and I can get down on. My grandma made the best fried chicken ever, but when I go to there, I always am like, I wonder how this compares to my grandma's fried chicken, and I'll get some of that, and then maybe some fried okra,
Oh yeah, fried
and
okra is good. Now, I was getting
oh
ready to
yeah.
say
Yeah.
sometimes you get like just it might be lima beans or black-eyed peas, and you get that and a piece of cornbread with it.
Yep.
Man, that's good stuff.
That's every year. My girlfriend's big on that. I'm doing. My girlfriend's mom is big on that. She'll do it every year.
Oh, very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. Food is such, and see, that's the thing. Food and music. That's the reason why we're around this, is because food and music. If music is entertaining to you, entertaining to your soul. It really speaks to so many different people. And then food is that it's a universal as well. You can
It's
talk.
always together.
Yeah, always. And I think about all the greatest times you've ever had is around food and music. I think
Yep.
about that. I remember going to so many events with my mom over the years. She's a vocal teacher, and she's taught chorus for millions of years. But she would do kind of like little. I don't know. It'd be more Renaissance type of music where they would do Baroque music, and then she would play guitar, and she would go around and sing as well as play her guitar, but in like a trio, but more
Yeah.
Baroque music. So
Yeah,
just
that sounds
absolutely
challenging.
amazing.
There's a couple of things I did that was very challenging for me. So as far as musically and really having to work at it, one of them was when I was at going to the church. They had a group that was a cappella, and it was 8-part a cappella. So 4 guys, 4
Wow.
girls, and they did very intricate harmonies. They did the same
Wow.
stuff. I don't know if you've ever been to Epcot Center at Disney World. They
Mm.
have a group called the Voices of Liberty that go around and sing. They were
Mm-hmm.
doing those same arrangements,
Oh
and that was
wow.
really challenging. But I love doing the Christmas music. We do a Christmas music, and then we'd have a patriotic program. So that was fun. I got to go sing at the Biltmore House in Asheville for a Christmas thing. Got to sing for the governor's inauguration in North Carolina a few years ago. So that was pretty fun. And then the other
Nice.
thing that was really challenging, because I can kind of read music, but not really fast. When I was at a former high school I was teaching at, I helped out with the school plays. I was the assistant director of the school plays for a few years. Loved it. I played bass a couple of times and had the whole score to the whole musical. I would go home and write down what every single note was. Like, okay, here it is on the staff. That's a B, and then here's a C. So I did that. We did Fame. I think I played on Fame and Footloose, and I played the whole score to that, along
Wow.
with like the professional piano player that they paid to bring in to play that stuff. And that was pretty fun, but also very challenging. So those are
I
probably
hear
the
the
two things that
Banjos.
stretched me the most.
No, that's awesome. That is awesome. So my parents are musicians. They're also teachers. And that was always fun doing the plays with my mom. My mom always she would always do something with the drama teacher. So they would do a musical together, and she was always in charge of the music part of it. And it was always fun being around it. I was always the roadie when I was around it. At her plays and at her stomp. That was fun. It was a total blast. I always got to wear a black shirt and run around and change
Change scenes.
sets. Yep,
Yeah.
change sets. And it was totally fun. I had so much fun. Those are some of my favorite things, because you're around musicians they're kids, but my mom's trying to do this show and you're helping your mom, but you're also just being part of the show is always fun. I think being a musician or in that area where you're part of the show is such a blast, and it's such a big high because the people, especially when you see the people being entertained and laughing and dancing. Maybe have you been able? I know that you've been in. What's probably your favorite venue and maybe favorite show you've ever done?
Oh boy, I don't know if I can put that down. I loved singing at the Biltmore House. So as people came in, it was in the evenings that it had a big, had the trees lit up and all of that stuff. So that was fun to do. I'm trying to think what else. And just so many things. It's hard to pick favorites. You ask me favorite songs or favorite performances. I can't really do it. It's just all kind of blurs into my experiences. And it's all been great.
You're a musician, so you just love to play music, and that's awesome.
Yep.
James, do you have any questions?
So there was a place that you could play. What place would be like your dream, like gig kind of place that you want to play in front of people?
There's a few places that seem pretty cool. The Red Rocks Amphitheater.
Yeah, I heard about the Red Rocks. Cool.
Yeah, I don't remember where that's at, but it always looks like a cool place to play. Is it in Colorado? Maybe, I don't remember.
I think so.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. And I think actually when you talk to other musicians, they say the same thing. Red Rocks is a very cool place, a really cool venue to play. And it didn't matter like what genre of music you're playing, they love to go there because of the amphitheater itself is supposedly amazing. Yeah. I think we've actually had another discussion about that where they said that was one of their favorite venues. Very cool.
Yeah, I forgot who it was. I think it might have been Dusty.
What music would you play if you were to play at the Red Rocks? One song, if you had to pick one song, and I know this is going to be a hard one what would you play?
Can't do it. I can't pick one song.
Yeah, too many good ones. Too many good ones. So I'll tell you one of the things that really I have that I'll Fly Away is one of my. I'm very close to that song, and it was one of the bluegrass songs that my grandma loved, and she passed away probably about 10 years ago now. And we did that. I did a video with adding that into the video. So I had her growing up, her pictures from growing up, and I did it to that song. And I had never really heard that song before, but it has such good memories of that was my grandma because she was really loved gospel music, really loved being part of her church. And then additionally, just absolutely loved bluegrass apparently. And I didn't,
I sent you something where we're playing that one?
You did. And I was,
if not, I could send it to you.
Yeah, no, blown away by how it just is. The first time I saw that when you sent it to me, it just I teared up because it makes me emotional because I was so connected to my grandma. I just absolutely love and I miss her. And that type of thing was really connecting for me. So I just thought, thank you for that, Bryan, because that's what music's about. Music is about connecting.
That's great.
Yeah, very. And I think that you always have like a song, that's why we talk about that last time, a song that goes along with the, special events. What is your favorite special events that you play for?
We really enjoy playing at the nursing homes to see the response from the folks.
That's good too.
You'll have the people that work there say, "Yeah, so and so hasn't spoken in 2 months," and you go and they'll be singing right along with you, and it's pretty cool to see.
I think that's where you can kind of connect a lot with a lot if you get nursing homes and stuff like that. It kind of brings it back, or that's what especially about that music, that kind of music, especially to kind of bring it back.
Memories, just like Andy was saying.
Yeah, it's such good stuff. And especially with my daughter now works in an older folks home, and she was the director and doing activities director. And she absolutely just loved seeing people spark up. Absolutely loved that piece about it. And that kept her going on. And she's been there almost a year now and absolutely has loved seeing the spark from type of the activities that she's creating to help, kind of get by their day, but she also sees them smile and her just going by and being genuinely nice. I think that's what music comes in, is just being able to have fun and reassure them that this is still a connecting. Music is so connecting, and you can see that those folks are, that's cool.
And that's like the best feeling. Even like if somebody's been mute or whatever for years, and just having that positive energy to kind of go through them, and that connection to with it, and then obviously make them, whether it makes them smile, talk, whatever, to say one word or whatever, is awesome.
Yeah, love it. So, and I think it's just me and you again.
Everybody's having connection issues, or is something going on.
StreamYard. It's something with StreamYard, I'm sure. There he is again. Let me find my mouse. I hate this white screen on a white. Hang on, there it is. Okay. Sorry about that.
Hey,
there we go, Brian. And we're back.
The voices were behind again, so I thought I'd pop back out while y'all were talking real quick.
No worries. So what we're going to do for the next 18 minutes, because we try to keep our show to an hour, we're going to let Brian do some singing and some picking. And we hope that everybody in the audience will have an enjoyment for us and show us what his music is all about. And, absolutely, I've seen him play before, and he's an absolute. So anybody who is out there, grab a friend, grab a drink, enjoy some time with us. And we're going to hear some really amazing music coming out of this corner over here with Brian. I totally appreciate you coming on in for that reason.
Oh, cool. Thank you guys for having me. If it gets too loud, banjos are really loud, so I won't do too much on the banjo, but I'll see if I can do a little I'll Fly Away from you for you, okay?
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Well, some glad morning when this life is over, I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Oh, I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. There you go. Not the best in the world, but you're on mute.
Very nice.
Awesome song. Thank you very much for doing that. It's such a special song, and it's built in that gospel. I just absolutely love it. Just beautiful music. And then he's picking up. So we got the guitar coming next. Very nice.
Oh.
And what guitar do you play? So just so for everybody out there who is a guitar enthusiast, what are you playing?
So this is a Martin Golden Era D18.
Oh, Martins. If anybody knows Martins.
And I didn't have one for a long time. I got this last year, maybe last year or the year before. Probably the year before. at this point, and I've loved it. I
Yeah, I know.
also have, I've got some more classic vintage instruments. The banjo I was just playing is a 1960 Gibson banjo, and telling some stories about some things. Just before my mother passed away, my mom and dad bought for me a 1930 Gibson banjo and got it from a very famous banjo player. He sells banjos. For a lot of vintage acoustic instruments, you're looking for pre-war, so pre-World War II era. So that's a very special instrument for me. And we'll never get rid of that one, that's for sure. So pretty
Yeah.
cool. Do you have any instrument like that you've really become attached to? Have some sentimental?
So my Ibanez that I played throughout my life, I just have a Roadstar basic, I don't know, like intermediate guitar that I played throughout high school and just have absolutely connected. I have a PV bass that is all natural wood. And that was like the first stringed instrument that was upright, that I learned how to play something on a stringed instrument, and just sat there. Remember, my mom had a PV bass head, PV bass, and stack, and I just sat and learned how to play bass that way until I got my Ibanez when I was about 14. And then the Strat that I have is my mom's Strat. She gave it to me saying, "Andy, I want you to have a good instrument." She played this. She's an excellent guitarist, and the Strat that I play is from her. So yeah.
Nice. James, do you play?
I don't. It's something that I would want to do and pick up. Yeah, absolutely. I've looked about getting either guitar or learning drums.
Cool. Actually, you know what? I'll show you my Ibanez. It's beat up and crazy.
But I've done a little bit of keyboard in high school, saxophone. I did some drum lessons in around high school time, and yeah, I wanted to try and learn drums. I mean, guitar as well.
Yeah, that is it's missing some knobs. It has some love that's happened to it over the years. I need to go and get it fixed up again. But I absolutely love those instruments that you have loved, that have been well loved. They all have stories, and that's probably all of your guitars and banjos probably have a story, a little bit of a story. They always do. Even if it's a brand new instrument to you, there's always something about it that has a story behind it.
Yeah. Very cool.
Love it. I love that. So you're going to play your Martin.
Yep.
And what song are we singing now,
So
Bryan?
This is one I've known it for a long time. This one is Keith Whitley's song. And Keith Whitley died way too young. He was married to Lori Morgan. And this was like a scratch vocal that wasn't ever really recorded. As a song, you can tell he wrote it for his wife, and for some reason it just hits me. It's good to sing, and I just love it. And I haven't had a chance to sing it on karaoke night or anything like that, so I'm gonna sing it for you guys.
Awesome.
If I were alone in the desert, without a drink of water around, on my knees and hands in that white scorching sand, with the hot Sahara sun beating down, if I could be granted my wishes, and anything I'd want would come true, I know you might not understand it, but here's what I'd want you to do. Tell Lori I love her, tell Lori I need her, tell her everything would be okay if I could just see her. Tell Lori I love her, tell Lori I need her, and if I leave this old world, tell her she's the only girl for me. If I were adrift on the ocean, a vessel with no sails or steam, floating aimlessly on an endless sea. Hopelessly lost, it would seem. All of the fish in the water could echo my last dying plea. I know you might not understand it. Here's what I want it to be. Tell Lori I love her. Tell Lori I need her. Tell her everything would be okay if I could just see her. Tell Lori I love her. Tell Lori I need her. And if I leave the soul world, tell her she's the only girl for me. Yeah, if I leave the soul world, tell her she's the only girl for me.
It's awesome. I love that.
Absolutely amazing.
That's
Absolutely
just a powerful
amazing
song to me for some reason, because I know the story behind it a little bit. It's just
tell us the
plain
story. Tell us
simple
the
song.
story. Yeah, tell us the story.
Well, I mean, that was it. It was just, you know, who sung it and who it was written for. And, you know, he died way too early.
Gotcha.
So it's just a cool song.
It's a beautiful song. Absolutely beautiful song. And that's what music for me, especially when you have bluegrass, is about. So is country, is about singing and talking, and it's poetry. But it's from the heart, and it tells a story. And in my opinion, a lot of that is about storytelling.
Yeah, that's what we're going to focus on tomorrow night, songs that tell stories. So that'll be a good one.
Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. So go join Mr. Bryan for a wonderful night. And you start at, you said 7:30.
Eastern.
Yep. And it's a good time. I've actually really enjoyed, and he's, as you can tell, his vocals are outstanding as well. Very good voice. I absolutely love hearing the country coming out of Bryan because it's just so strong. And then he's also, his playing is really good too. I mean, the banjo picking, oh, amazing, amazing. Yeah, but I think your vocals are, in my opinion, strong, very strong. And
it's really hard to play. It's really hard to play a banjo rolling and sing at the same time when you won't have anybody else accompanying you, because you're missing the you know, the bass and the guitar with the beats on it.
Yeah.
So it's really
very
hard
much
to do
so.
that at the same time. I can do a little bit, but not very much.
Gotcha. And that's okay. And that's what, you know, what's interesting is that who would you say is your banjo idols? If you were to take a look at throughout the musicians out there, who would you consider your banjo, live or dead?
Well, everybody always has to say Earl Scruggs because he's the one that kind of invented the style and made it famous. But there's a guy named J.D. Crowe, Crowe, that was very famous in the bluegrass world. It's called J.D. Crowe in the New South. And if you look at all of the people that came through his band, you're going to recognize some of them. Keith Whitley, that we just talked about, he was part of that band. Ricky Skaggs, he was part of that band.
Wow.
The best guitar player ever for acoustic music, Tony Rice, came through his band. Jerry Douglas, who plays with Alison Krauss, plays the dobro on everything, came through his band. It's just pretty cool. It's had a lot
That
of
is very cool.
Had a lot of different members and a great lineups throughout the years, and he was just so good on the banjo. It took Earl Scruggs, and then he added a little more syncopation, a little more blues, kind of pushed the envelope a little bit more.
Very nice. Very nice.
I've seen like a few Bill Keith videos as well.
Yeah, so that style is what's called a melodic style, and he was the first guy that came along and was able to pick out all of the notes. Like when you play a fiddle tune, he was able to play all of that on the banjo. So it's a totally different thing. You're playing a melodic style, so you're playing. It's hard to explain. But it's a totally different feel. With melodic banjo playing. It's really hard for me.
Very interesting. Very cool. Do you know that's what I enjoy about music is there's always something to elevate your game. You know, it's like, hey, I want to play like I want to start doing a new style, and that is going to require me like it's going from for me it's like going from rock to jazz guitar. Jazz guitar has a ton of bars in it, a lot more style, and I think that if you even go into flamenco or something like that, you're just totally different styles, and you have to really up your game, and especially like just even your hand, how you hold your hand.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Dan.
And hey, Dan, what's going on, buddy?
Fake Friday.
It is.
I was thinking today was Friday all day. So
I wish it was Friday. Let me tell you.
Friday.
So here's what I want you to do. I want if we can do another encore. I absolutely love your music, Bryan. I've loved your music since, and I would love to have you play another song for us if you would.
I will try my best.
Awesome. Thank you
out
so
of practice,
much.
Really. You think I would have a lot more time to practice during quarantine not being able, but when you don't get to go out and play, you kind of lose motivation a little bit. But every time I go back and play, and you may feel the same way, and if you've taken a break from it and you go back to it, you're like, why in the world do I not do this every day? It makes me
No
so
doubt.
happy. Why do I not do this every day?
This is what's funny, and I'll tell everybody really quick. I hadn't been playing guitar as much as in the last few years, just because I was really focused on the beard stuff products and doing the reviews. And now that I'm kind of, and just happenstance, we started really liking to get talking about with the musicians and folks, and it just completely started picking up. I want to start playing again. So I play every day now, at least half an hour to an hour. I got a guitar stand today. I got some new strings for my Strat. I've got some more picks today. I went to the music store, and my son, we're going to go pick him out an electric bass. So I've been looking at what he would like to play and what feels really good. So it's just really inspired me to keep going, pick up that musicianship again and start really getting back into it. I'm absolutely loving it. Absolutely loving it. So I'm glad that we're able to do this with us today.
Yeah, and I've ordered some more picks this week too, so we're gonna try out some new picks.
Oh, fun. I love doing that. I love going there, and then you have like this whole counter of picks, and you're like, oh, which ones do I want? And then now there's so many online that you're like, I wonder how that's going to really resonate. Should I bought the medium? Should I bought the thin? Which one should I bought? Yeah, I love it. Cool. So let's go ahead and what is this song going to be? And do you have any history behind this one?
This is a cool one. It's called "The Dirt Road" by Sawyer Brown. So once again, it's got some cool stuff in it. It's about working hard and daddy teaching you the lessons of life, that kind of thing. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Daddy worked hard for his dollar. Some folks don't, but that's okay. They won't know which road to follow, because an easy street might lead you astray. I'll take the dirt road, it's all I know. I've been walking it for years, it's gone where I need to go. It ain't easy, it ain't supposed to be, but I'll take my time, and life won't pass me by, 'cause it's right there to find on the dirt road. I have lived life in the fast lane. You gotta watch your back and look both ways. But when it's said and done, the time we have is borrowed. You better make real sure you're living the right way. I'll take the dirt road, it's all I know. I've been walking it for years, it's gone where I need to go. It ain't easy, it ain't supposed to be, but I'll take my time, life won't pass me by, 'cause it's right there to find on the dirt road, on the dirt road.
Love that song. Yes, 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 yes.
That's awesome.
Such, songs speak to me. I just absolutely, that's what, and I know you feel the same way, Brian and James, that songs just have I'm just absolutely speak to you. And they're all about journey. They're all about life. And even in metal and things like that, it's about life that they're experiencing the way that they're experiencing it. It's an expression of the way that they're experiencing life. Sometimes it is about a primal scream in metal, or it's about taking the dirt road. I absolutely love songs like that. That's, it's great lyrics, great playing too, of course.
Thank you. And I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Something to relate to.
Yeah, that's what, and I think that's what I would say that bluegrass, if you were to really take a look at it, that's what I get out of bluegrass is it's always such that journey, that story, as well as great musicianship, going back and forth. And, there's it's almost like not a battle, but it's like a talk back and forth on instruments as well. So when you're hearing the banjo, you'll hear a guitar, you'll hear the fiddle, and they'll do different little solos, but it's like communication between the instruments together. And then they'll all blend together back again. And I just absolutely love that. It's like a song and a story amongst itself.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, good music. Very good music. Well, we're at the hour mark, and we are trying to always keep our musicians in the hour frame. Is there any last thoughts, any last questions, James, that you would have for Bryan?
No, I enjoy what he does for the community, and even bringing the beards and the banjos reviews and the whole music together, and just bringing it out to everybody. And I think it's a really good time. And especially like during like quarantine days or whatever, it kind of brings you to enjoy some good music.
Agreed, very much so. And do you have any last? So 7:30 tomorrow night is the stories, as is our karaoke night, but he's going to be songs that have stories.
That's the plan.
Yeah, very cool. And so go join Bryan on Beards and Banjos YouTube channel. As you can tell, just an amazing artist with a lot of passion for music and absolutely, phenomenal player. So, and vocalist. So just absolutely go watch him, and when you can. And what was the name of your old? If people want to see some more of your music on your YouTube channel, what's the name of your YouTube channel that is on the music side?
Bryan Haywood.
Okay, perfect. So go check out Bryan Haywood if you want to see some of his music, and amazingly good. It really is. And I've been blown away with what I've seen so far on that channel. Just really good. And so we'll definitely go check out that.
Oh, Ken said wait. Oh, it's going to say wall. I thought he said wait. It's wall.
I thought so wait too. I was about to say hold
on.
Wait, he wants to play another song. Do you have another song before we leave? Do you have another song for us,
I can
Bryan?
do one if you really want me to.
Let's do another song, man. Let's do an encore before we leave. We'll sign off after that. Thank you guys for coming on in. I absolutely love Bryan's playing, and if I can get another song out of Bryan, I will. So enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for coming on in today. And Bryan, again, this has just been a pleasure. You're one of my good friends, buddy, and I'm just so happy to have the ability to share music with you and have you come on and have the folks out there in internet land be able to see such a passionate, great musician.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be here. I really appreciate it and appreciate your friendship. This is a bluegrass song for you. I'll just strumming on the guitar, but it tells another story about an old home life. So see if you guys like this one here. So it goes: 2 trees on the hillside of the mountain, always looking up towards the sky. Reminds me of my papa and my mama, who lived there 80 years before they died. Now a bright moon is shining in the valley, an old wagon leans against a stack of hay. Two graves on a hillside by a cabin. My mom and dad are resting there today. The burning of the green wood on the fireplace, a falling snow around the redbud trees, the branches of the laurel by the creek bed, and the rippling waters of the gentle breeze. Now a bright shining in the valley, an old wagon leans against a stack of hay. Two graves on a hillside by a cabin. My mom and dad are resting there today. Papa used to talk about the young days when he and Mama first were settled there. He spoke about the love of the mountain and the together there. Now a bright moon is shining in the valley, an old wagon leans against a stack of hay. Two graves on a hillside by a cabin. My mom and dad are resting there today. Yeah, my mom and dad are resting there today.
Love it, love it, love it. Yes. Thank you guys for coming on in. Absolutely love it. And again, go check out Bryan. We'll talk to you guys soon. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.